Stay, Uso. Uso down. Okay, good boy. Uso chilling, watching as always. All right, today we're gonna do just a little introduction on the prong collar. Miss B already knows what it is. Come here, Miss B. Miss B, come. Good. Come here, come here, come here. Good job. So the prong collar is a great tool to help teach your dog how to walk properly on a leash. But let's say I had a 5-month-old puppy and never seen a prong collar before. I'll show you how I would introduce it. And it would be by leash pressure, right? So you got it on. I have a short leash on her. But let's just say that you had a regular leash, it doesn't matter. And leash pressure is basically just pressure with the leash that helps teach the dog where to go. Leash pressure is everything with dog training. It's going to be your best tool on teaching the dog how to communicate with you. And so if you have a dog, if you have a puppy that's 5 months old and you've been doing all the positive training, teaching the dog the commands through food, positive praise, it comes to a point where the dog will listen to you and it won't listen to you, right? The dog will pick and choose. So you know that the dog knows the command, but there's times, especially when you don't have food, where the dog's just going to ignore you. And that's where the prong collar comes in. The prong collar gives the dog accountability, right? It's a tool for you to communicate with the dog and have that control over it without having to scream, without having the dog pushing you around. So, come on, Miss B. So a perfect introduction to prong collar with your dog is you'll just walk them nicely like this. And when you come to a stop, you're slowly gonna lift up, and that allows the dog to sit. When the dog sits down, you release the pressure, okay? So now, good girl, Miss B. So now you tell the dog to sit, right? Stay. And now the dog knows to sit, but now you're working on duration, right? That's the next step, is teaching the dog the command and then working on duration and distance. So duration is, okay, now we're gonna get the dog to sit down for 10 seconds, right? And as for a puppy, that's really hard to do. Puppies will sit down. As soon as you walk away, they want to follow you, right? So let's say they follow you, they get up. All you got to do is grab the leash, go back to where you were, leash pressure, and wait until the dog sits down. And then you start the count over again. So let's say you're aiming for 10 seconds. So you wait 10 seconds, 1, 2, and then once they reach that goal, good girl, good job, then you reward them, okay? It's a slow process. You gotta take your time with it because it's a new tool, so the dog's not gonna be used to it. So as a leader, you wanna make sure that you have a fair relationship with it and you introduce it properly. Now, the great thing about this tool is that you don't have to scream. You don't have to get frustrated because you have control of the dog. It's just a matter of putting in the time and teaching the dog what you want, okay? So let's go on a walk again. It's real easy. The best kind of training is when you don't have to talk. You stop, leash pressure up. Good. Okay, let's go again. And so you're gonna come to a point where like the dog wants to pull. And it's all about leash pressure. So if the dog pulls this way, you want to come the opposite way because the dog's not going to want to fight that pressure. So you come, sit, good. So if I were to give advice to someone that's a little cautious of using this tool because of the appearance, this is the way I would introduce it. I would just work on leash pressure with just the sit. And all you have to do is walk, stop, and pull up just a little bit. You'll feel it tighten. As soon as the dog sits down, you release. Okay? And as a puppy, the dog's gonna go crazy. So once the dog sits down and you move away, the dog gets up. All you have to do is calmly lift up on the leash, be patient, and just wait for the dog to respond to the leash pressure. Okay? And of course, you wanna follow up with food too, because the dog, this is the first time the dog is feeling like a negative pressure, right? So you want to remind them that, hey, that's exactly what I want, right? And you've been doing positive training this whole time, so the dog knows when it gets food, it's doing something right. And so that would be the introduction for prong collar. And you'll see the difference. The control that you have with a prong collar is night and day compared to a regular flat collar or a harness. So it's all about the knowledge and the education. When you're taught the right way, you'll understand that it's not the tool, it's how you use the tool. What's wrong, Uso? You all right? He's, Miss B is, no, don't lick it. She got an infection last time Uso was doing that. But she had her heat maybe like 3 months ago, so I don't know what's going on, why she's throwing off these signals. Uso's been really attracted to her lately and just wanting to smell. The one thing that sucks with Uso is he can't scratch himself, right? You know when dogs always use their back legs to scratch right here? And being itchy is one of the worst feelings, right? When I was taking care of my grandpa and he had cancer, one of the things that he really appreciated from me was back scratches, man, because when you're in bed, when you're bedridden, you start developing rashes, and bed sores. So one of the things that really irritated him was being itchy and not being able to scratch himself. And Uso's the same way. He can't scratch himself. So come on, Uso, let's go. This way. Uso, come on. Come on, this way. This way, Uso. Come on. Let's go. Control yourself. Uso, down. Right here, stay down. Down. Good boy. What's up, you guys? Good morning. What's up, Lake? Good morning. Okay, so I wanted to cover the prong collar. It's just A lot of my training is based on positivity, right? But there's a balance. There's balanced trainers, and then there's positive only trainers. And in society, they try to push positive only. And I don't blame people for loving their dog, right? And caring for them and babying them. But when we educate people on the tools that is necessary, they're doing it all wrong. They're teaching people to put harnesses on dogs. The harness, the body harness that sled dogs use when they go sledding. They teach people that because it looks humane, that's the right tool to use when they're walking their dog. And, that's really setting people up for failure because when you put a harness on a dog and you go for a walk, that harness actually encourages dog to bolt and to push and to pull harder. And people wonder why. How come I can't control my dog? Why is my dog pulling so much? Well, because you don't have control over the dog. You're strapping a leash over a dog through the body. There's no control. How do you think people control horses? Through the head, right? So when you educate yourself and use the right tools and you experiment, the most important thing is experimenting. Don't be closed-minded. You got to try these different tools and see which one works best for you. And then you can come up with your own conclusions to whether this is appropriate for lifestyle or not. You're your own person, you and your dog, that's you guys. No one can tell you what to do. But I think it's important for you to really um, expand and try things out. I was real hesitant about the e-collar, but now I love the e-collar. And anytime somebody needs help, I try to encourage them to lean towards the e-collar because, you know, man, especially going on walks, it's the best. Not having to hold the leash and knowing you have full control, it's the best feeling. I can really walk and enjoy the scenery and not have to worry about my dog. All right, Uso's hurting. He's not doing so good this morning. His right leg's bugging him. Let's see. So with Uso right here, he has his hip is deteriorating. On his left leg, his knee is the one that's hurting him. So on both sides, he's having problems in different areas. So now that we're going into winter, his bones are getting a little bit more stiff. So it takes him more time to be relaxed. Okay, so I'm gonna go and take him inside, let him rest because also the sense that Miss B's throwing is distracting him and making him want to walk more. All right, well, anyways, I'm gonna keep it short, put Uso away. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna train Miss B and start my day, start taking care of all the chickens and everything I gotta do in the morning. It's a beautiful day, and I encourage you guys to go and train your dogs. Just spend 10, 15 minutes. That's it. Bond with your dog a little bit. See the relationship grow. And there's nothing better than being able to communicate with a dog like this. Especially if you got guard dogs, man. It's amazing. You can really communicate, man, in a way where it's just unexplainable. Okay, you guys, have a blessed day, all right? We'll see you again tomorrow, bright and early. Oh, let me read some of these comments. Yeah, exactly. Just try it out, man. If you're hesitant about a certain tool, just try it out. Give it a try. There's so many videos on YouTube that will help you out and explain leash pressure.